Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Turf War, the coolest fantasy football league on the planet. Primarily because the league's been run this year out of Antarctica, so that makes it very cool, if not very, very cold. This is season 2, episode 30, overall episode 106. We are streaming live. Anywhere you can find it, subscribe, like, or share, show our channel. Whether you've gone through some tough sledding with your team this past week, or if you're looking for that Christmas miracle, we're glad you're here for our Christmas episode on Fantasy Turf War. And when I say we, that would be my expert co-host, Susan, the Gridiron Goddess, and Adam from Fantasy Couriers. Let me add them in here. You've trusted their advice all year long. Trust that they won't give you cold in your stocking. Welcome and introduce yourselves.
Hello, everybody. I am Susan. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for being here. She's already waving. Gridiron Goddess. Find me on TikTok and Instagram. Adam.
Hey, I'm Adam. I'm DJ Dev from Fantasy Couriers. See, my name's changing all over the screen. I am in a new studio today. I am recording at my in-laws' house. We are traveling for Christmas. So if you hear 5-year-olds or 2-year-olds running around and screaming, that's where we are. It's a fun life here. My mother-in-law luckily has a computer working. So you can check us out on thefantasycouriers.com to links to all of our podcasts. We release one every Sunday. And coming soon, we're actually going to experiment with some live shows. This has motivated me, and Riverside gave me some access to live. I did a dry run with my other podcast the other night, and I read the Christmas story on there. I was like, this isn't too bad. So
that's cool.
There'll be some live Fantasy Courier shows in 2026. So check out, join in. Sharon, you can come ask us some questions there. We'll be going into Dynasty stuff pretty soon.
Nice.
All right.
And I'm Cameron. I'm representing Shelter Dogs for Veterans. Before we get into our regular topics, let's go through and what are you sporting on your on the screen today? What are you guys wearing? So, Susan, what are you wearing?
My Christmas sweater is a sheep that says "Bah Humbug."
Well done.
Is it fuzzy too? It's fluffy. I did like cottony.
It's very fluffy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Does anybody look at that and say, "Ew"? Get it? The pun. Ew.
I almost wore my Merry Swiftmas sweater.
Aha!
But it was in the wash.
Last week? Did you have it?
Yeah, I did. I was wearing it last week.
We discovered that after the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Adam, you are festive today. What do you got going on here?
I got Buddy the Elf on my ugly Christmas sweater. I'm sporting my Christmas jacket. This is a gingerbread man. Some Santa's more of a pixelated kind of Christmas. And I got my Santa hat, which is my men's alliance, my men's ministry that actually I represent in Fantasy Turf War. So I didn't realize your ears till you came on, Cameron. And I was laughing while I was watching you start talking. I didn't notice that. I was dying.
Yeah, anybody knows me knows that I'm a Star Wars fan. So I've got the Yoda elf ears Santa hat on today, and I also have my T-shirt, which is Darth Vader in the sleigh instead of Santa, and what is pulling in are not reindeers; those are AT-AT walkers. So, again, well done, guys. Love the festivities here. So, the big question for you two: are you in the championship game for any of your leagues, or have you already won any championships this season, or did the Grinch get you?
Go ahead, Adam.
It's still too soon. I had 9 games this week. I have Puka Nakua on most of my teams.
Jeez.
No, I have a lot of other guys that don't play football anymore, apparently, because I stopped watching football. I left the living room for a while. Like I haven't been this hot over football in a long time. I've been pretty chill. I'm like, you know me. I do football for fun. I'm like, okay, cool. I got this one team two teams scored like 200 points more than the rest of the league.
Jeez.
Laid a stinking egg. So I mean, the good news is JJ Wang was like, hey, dude, you're in 3 championship games. Okay. Problem is their games and it's funny, the one that I'll win the most and I'm in, and so it's fun. I get to bust those guys' chops, but there's this one league that I've been trying to win for years and I just didn't. Oh, it's killing me. It's just I was just getting salty, especially after 50 from Puka. That's the worst. I am that lone guy that had Puka in that many teams and lost that many times. So I got 3. So I got to be happy with that. I Grinch'd on a bunch of others, but 3. We'll take it.
Susan, how'd you fare?
I won a 3rd place matchup this week. So it's an 8-team league. So it's actually what I like about that league is I joined as it was my brother-in-law and his friends, and it was like 7 other dudes and me, and then they lost somebody, so they added my wife, not my wife, his wife, my sister-in-law. Sorry, brain. And so she is taking home the championship this year, and
Oh
I got
man.
third place. So
Oh
we came in these last 2 years and just like took it over.
wow.
Yeah. More
So,
power.
but I am in one championship. I don't know if you remember that league that I barely made it in. That I was like, hey, I think I might get into the championship. I barely made it in. I got that 6th seed into the playoffs,
Nice.
and now I am in the ship to defend my title. Hopefully get a repeat. I don't think I will because the other team is like averaging way more points than I am. But you never know.
Never
Any given
know.
Sunday, right?
That's why they play the game. That's old Chris Berman. That's
Yeah.
why they play the game. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you guys. I got Grinch'd on both the ones that I thought I had the best shot at. You know, they even tried to give it to me. I had one person I was playing against, forgot, and they had an injured player on the roster. And it's like, oops, there's a Christmas gift. Yes, no, my players did not show up. It did not happen for me. So it's all right now. One of the leagues I'm just playing for prestige, and the other one I'm playing for draft seeding for next year. So again, as always, as we've talked about, even if I'm not playing for something, I'm still going to do my best. I'm still going to put on my lineup and
That's
take
right.
a task where I can. So
Yeah.
all right.
Let me highlight this though.
Yeah.
Sharon, 5 championship matches and 4 teams for 3rd place.
Well done, Sharon. You did it. Well done.
That's awesome. Okay, sorry, I had to.
Oh, no worries. That's awesome. We'd love to hear from our
highlight that.
It's proof. It makes us feel good too, though, because she's leaned on all of us and leaned on the 2 of our podcasts as well. I had a buddy at church on Sunday standing at the door on the way out. He's like, he uses my rankings every year. He's like, hey, I'm in 2 championship games thanks to you. That's the ones that feels good versus the everything. Like there's a guy that Susan's going to talk about later on that I hung my hat on this year, and he's on my naughty list too as well. Sorry, she's going to talk, but there's those guys you feel bad when you give advice that hurts somebody, but knowing that there's people that we are able to, she's talked to us all season, like she's probably our league MVP.
That is sweet.
For MVP.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with my work too. If I see somebody that I've trained or they've worked with, me, and they go on to succeed and do something great, we relish in those victories. Same thing with Fantasy Turf War. If somebody is succeeding and they've gotten something out of this show, well done, guys. You did a great job. It's always fun to hear those stories. So awesome. This is our Christmas show. This is also our last show of the season, unless Commissioner Corey deems otherwise. I don't think he will. But today, we're going to make a quick pass through the headline news, the Fantasy Turf War playoff scene, and the Little Jimmy checkup. And then we're going to shift gears into the naughty and nice list. But as always, we love hearing from you guys in the audience. Post your questions, your matchup issues, and so forth. And we'll do our best to take a look at those things. So starting off, let's take a quick look at some of the biggest stories, news, or shocks from the past weekend on headline news for Week 16. Adam, kick us off with a headline.
I'm going to start with what I mentioned earlier. I think it was – I'm going to bunch it together. I don't know if I checked it on there or not. It was that Thursday night game. Thursday night football usually stinks. I hate Thursday night football. I hate watching Thursday night football. But the Rams versus the Seahawks did not disappoint. Rams are my preseason Super Bowl pick. My preseason was them winning the Super Bowl, Matt Stafford being the league MVP. I think I'm 50-50 on that. But the teams did not disappoint. I didn't see the Seahawks winning this game. That was crazy stuff. But you're looking through that game. You want to talk about starting a championship weekend. I started Josh Allen over Matt Stafford. That's why I lost one of those leagues that I should have won. But you don't start Stafford.
You can't.
You can't. But I am this week for the 3rd place game just because I'm so mad at him right now. But you're looking at Matt Stafford, 3 touchdowns, 457. Sam Darnold, put up a stinker, still had 272 touchdowns, and so that's decent enough if you had to play Sam Bradford. You had Puka just go bonkers, 225 and 2, and most of us are freaking out. I had a Puka Devontae Adams stack on the team. Well, that stunk. That's the reason another team lost. And then JSN at halftime, you're done. I have a team with Puka and JSN that's in the championship. I was like, man, I'm toast. No. Welcome back to the league, JSN. I think he had, 1 or 2 targets at halftime, 13 targets, 8 receptions, 96 yards, tutty, and boom, AJ Barner, a guy that we like 4 for 49. This game did not disappoint. Terrence Ferguson, keep that name in mind for next year. He's a tight end for the Rams, built like a big receiver. I think he's going to be a name. They might start going, we need to do something with this dude. So, but that game did not disappoint. When Thursday night games, I remember all the years Drew Brees was the worst Thursday night quarterback in the history of the world. He was the guy I had one of my dynasties.
I remember that.
And it killed me every year. Just boom, boom. Yeah. Drew, I love you. You're like one of my favorite players of all time. But Thursday nights, man, it was killer. So yeah, it was fun Thursday night football going back and forth, especially for us Puka owners who put up a 50 burger to start that week. And then if we just didn't play on Sunday, I'd be in like 9 championship games.
I was on the flip side. I had Devontae Adams, and so when he was not playing, it's like, okay, I already had my backup plan, but it did not help when I just saw Puka just go off the chain. But Seattle, they came back from 14 down to 1 in overtime. What a great way to start week 16. Susan, headlines, anything stood out to you this weekend?
For me, it's the repeat performance from the Jags.
Oh, yeah.
Against Denver. Because, they put up Lawrence performed incredibly well, but they weren't playing a good team, right? You're like, right. Let's see them do it. And then to go into Denver on the road and to still have 4 touchdowns with Surtain in the game. They paid Jacoby Myers. This team's turnaround, even just since the bye week, I don't know what adjustments Duval made at the bye week, but he did something. You know what I mean? There's something happened during that bye week, and Jacksonville is getting hot at the right time. So we're going to talk about them a little more, but that's my headline.
We call it here in this show. Go ahead, Adam.
I was a question posed before we get into your Trevor Lawrence. You're our Trevor Lawrence, but Parker Washington. Are we drafting him before Brian Thomas Jr. next year? Is he? Dude had 10 targets, $145 and a touchdown. He's exploded.
No, but I would not be surprised if Brian Thomas Jr. gets traded in the offseason because he could be a number 1 somewhere else. Clearly, they're keeping Jacoby Myers around. They paid him, and BTJ would bring a haul to that team. So, he's clearly not super needed. He's not one of those. They're not utilizing him in a shape or fashion that requires him to be there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up on the trading block. And I think if that happens, he's going to be drafted way higher than if he's not traded. You're not drafting Parker Washington over him, I don't think. But if he gets traded, then he's going to be drafted higher than he would otherwise.
I like that perspective on it. I really have to look at the offseason or maybe even through the playoffs here and say, what is Thomas's role on the team? What do they plan on doing with him? They clearly have weapons at T-Law's disposal. We actually called it here on this show 2 weeks ago and said, pick up T-Law. He put up 5 or 6 touchdowns that weekend. I was a little apprehensive about playing T-Law this weekend because they were playing against a good defensive team with Denver. This week, you light up T-Law again. They're playing against another shootout matchup with Indy. So, you play them this week. My headline news, I got to go back to that Saturday night game with the Packers and the Bears. Oh, my. Love going out. Yeah, I had a share of that, so I found a new reason to hate the Bears again. But, what a cheap shot to go after the quarterback. What do they get? A 15-yard penalty? Ooh. But then for the Packers to still be able to put up the points, they should have won the game with a backup quarterback, went to overtime, and you saw the results. The Bears won that one, but I do have concerns about Love now in concussion protocol. They're a playoff bound team at this point in time. You've got to figure things out, Pack. Otherwise, it's not go Pack go. It's got to be go home, Pack go home. So we'll have to see how that plays itself out. But take a cheap shot, take a quarterback out of the game like that. Again, Bears have only won twice against a 500 team. This shows why they'll be out early in the playoff rounds.
Yeah.
Adam, any other headlines? I know you had one other one you thought you might want to talk about.
I just wanted to mention, like, as a late season kind of guy, that he's helping me. So that's why. So things when they benefit you, you notice it even more. Yes. Is Phillip Rivers? The Colts are, I think, toast. I think they're dead in the water. But Phillip Rivers isn't the reason that they're dead in the water. He put up 277, 2 touchdowns, and he had an interception. But still, against the 49ers defense, it's not the peak what they used to be. They're still okay-ish. But Phillip Rivers doing that is going to be great if he can do that. They say he's going to play the rest of the season. I hope they don't do something cute and try to bench him this week for Leonard, because I kind of need him versus the Jaguars who are going to obliterate him. But
wait till week 18 when stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah, let him play against the Texans. Hopefully not. But yeah.
Yeah, kudos to old man Rivers. He looked good. He actually did look pretty good.
Look good.
Yeah, it's like he never left the game. It's like he still had that zip. He still could find that seam right in the end zone, hit Pierce twice. That's beauty. It was like, good for you. And, they show him on the sidelines a number of times during that game, and he was just outright having fun. That's what football's about, having fun. So kudos. All right. Let's move on to a word from our sponsor. So, Susan, take it away.
All right, it is time to talk about Alpha Clash, the indie comic book trading card game that turns every match into a lore-driven battle for glory. In the Alpha Clash universe, superpowered contenders collide in a fast-paced game that perfectly blends fun and competition. Build your deck, unleash devastating abilities, and outmaneuver your opponent in a game that's as much about brains as it is about bold moves. The artwork will pull you in, the gameplay will keep you coming back, and the growing global community awaits. Head to alphaclashtcg.com and start your journey today. That's alphaclashtcg.com. It's time to enter the clash.
That is awesome. Once again, great reading there, but the animation there, Adam. All you have to do is put in some Christmas movie, some Christmas songs on, and look at this from the perspective that you're Santa Claus trying to drive that sleigh, and the sleigh is just out of control. That was awesome. Reel back in the deer, man. Good stuff. All right. The quarterfinals of Fantasy Turf War came down to the haves and have-nots this week. Dragon's Hoard from Division 1 soundly put away Uncle Mike. Listen to this lineup, guys. You understand how Dragon's Hoard got there? Hurts, Puka Nakua, Pickens, McMillan, CMC, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, McBride, and Houston's defense. My first question is,
do it.
Who let him draft those guys, man? That would never happen in my league. It's like,
but no, they're all late guys, though. You got the dart throws. Javonte Williams.
The Javonte was a total dart throw.
10th round. I was picking him up. McBride was probably his second. It was Puka, McBride, Hurts.
So CMC,
CMC
round.
Puka, he had the 12th pick.
Yeah.
Probably the
Puka,
10th pick.
McBride, best tight end on the board. Hurts. Oh, boy. That division, my gosh. There were some Christmas gifts being given all year long on that one. It's not a wonder why he and this other team had scored over 2,000 points this year. That is a massive team. I am glad I did not have to play against Dragon's Hoard.
That's crazy.
So, the other game featured Jake with Evan Neal as his team from Division 3. That was my division, and he had set the scoring record a week ago. But in the finals, he ended up beating Teamer Terry this week. His lineup still put up some points, even though Josh Allen didn't put up very many points this week. He still put up almost 160 points on the squad. Josh Allen, Puka Nakua, Collins, Olave, Wilson, a receiver out of Arizona, Cook, Tracy, Goddard, Aubrey, and Houston's defense. But what an incredible finale this is going to be. These two teams have put up a lot of points this year. The top two amongst all 40 teams. Best of luck to you guys there. My only claim to fame here is I actually beat Jake twice this year, but that team is incredible. But looking at Dragon's Hoard, boy, I'm really interested to see who takes the championship on that one. Well done, guys. Well done. Both be in that championship game.
It's interesting to show when you think about the team. So obviously, every team comes from a different division, right?
Yeah.
So every team had the ability to draft. Like, unrealistically, both championship rosters could have all the same players, right? Because of how this tournament is built. They only share one just from this particular list, and it's Puka, which I think is really interesting. But also when you look at it, you can see how a different build can help. So like CMC and Javante and Brees, he went early running back. Well, when you look at Jake, he drafted one early running back, but then very clearly went heavy on the wide receivers.
Yep.
Puka, Collins, Olave, Garrett Wilson, and then probably went. So if I were looking at this, I would assume this person went hero RB, right? So they drafted one good running back and then went all wide receivers and a quarterback. And it's just interesting to see how the different builds.
We got lucky here. That's Michael Wilson.
It's Michael.
Oh, that's Michael Wilson?
Garrett.
Oh, I thought it was
replacement
I
for
thought it was
Harrison.
Garrett. Okay.
Aaron and Michael Wilson in there. That's just.
But still, Puka, Collins, and Olave. They're at the top. Well, you're getting Josh Allen in the third round, probably.
Yeah, he used his flex. So he had 4 receivers in that lineup. Wow. Again,
it's fun to see the different builds.
Yep. All right.
I don't remember. Sorry. I don't remember. I think that at one point there you can find the information about like what players were on the most rostered championships, championship rosters. I love when that information comes out because you really just can see. I do think it's going to be CMC and Puka probably this year. But
the interesting thing that it really flushes out is that regardless of what the draft orders or projections were at the very beginning when everybody was starting to pick up their teams and players, look how wrong they usually are. So I usually don't worry as much at the draft time of what is that ranking. I might weigh it in a little bit of consideration, but I'm using my gut instinct and how I think that person's going to fare. So, kind of tossing out the rankings per se.
Cameron is a vibes-based drafter, is what we're learning right now.
Yes, I am. I got the mojo, I got feeling, and I just run with it. But this year, the horses forgot to run. All right. All season long, we featured our little Jimmy coin in our start and sit segment. We've had some fun with it, and we got to test our insights against a simple coin toss. So hopefully you've enjoyed it too. And as a quick little recap, little Jimmy said to sit Travis Kelce week 16. He was correct in epic fashion. 1 catch, 6 yards. In fact, through the course of the season, little Jimmy was right 9 of the 15 weeks we did this. So you can make your own assumptions about that, but this is still fun nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, some thoughts about little Jimmy?
Well, little Jimmy, he's been a fickle little dude, but part of something that Corey sent us earlier this year, and I haven't utilized it, sitting on my desk at my other studio, is the Fantasy Couriers have a little Jimmy to gift to somebody. And if you would like to win that little Jimmy, all you got to do is listen to the Couriers show that we'll record next Sunday going into next week, and tell how my champion teams fare. So you might say, hey, DJ Dub was mad because all his teams were losing or one of his team was winning. Send me some sort of a message next week and I will mail you your very own little Jimmy so you can be good halftime as well.
Very good. Very good.
He's
okay. This is our big segment for the show. It's called Naughty and Nice. This is our Christmas show, of course. So, well. Or should I say ho, ho, ho? If Santa were to ask me if I was naughty or nice this year, I would probably say, yeah. because it's an or question. I'm not going to tell you which one I am. It's an or question. So, because it's the time of the year for either Christmas or Grinchmas, we are pulling out our list of who or what has been naughty or nice this past season. So first, we're going to go through the naughty list. There are no right or wrong answers for any of these things, but we're just going to have a lot of fun with this. So we're going to go position by position, starting off on the naughty list with quarterback. Susan.
Okay, I am starting off with a player that started off so hot, and then towards the end of the season, just like really let you down, and that is Baker Mayfield. He started. I was playing him every week consistently, and you're like, yes, you're able to count. You were counting on him. That connection between him and Abuka was just red hot, and then just as the season has gone on, you can't play him. You're not able to start him. And unfortunately for my dynasty league, I was having to, because there were points where I was like, I'm choosing between Sam Darnold and Baker. So they're really like right here. And so you're playing the matchup game. Like it was so hard to make that decision. But that's who I'm picking. Maybe next year he can keep that going. They're playing for their life right now for the playoffs. We'll see if they can turn it around.
They seem to find a way every year to try to lose that division, and they lost to Carolina. That was a game they could not afford. So, Adam, your quarterback naughty list. Who's on that list?
It's almost kind of like what Susan was saying there. Like my guy started out QB4, QB3, 2 passing touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. I got my screens are too little here. 1 rushing touchdown. That was Lamar Jackson. And then against Kansas City, blah. And then he was hurt. So the best ability in fantasy football is availability. And then since he's came back, he has 2 QB1 performances and then like a 15, 29, 25, 27, 20, and QB 29 this week. Meaning there were 28 quarterbacks that you would have rather had as he put up a whopping 101 yards passing and 7 yards rushing, so 108 total yards. That's the reason one of my really good teams didn't win, because Lamar Jackson, something is off in Baltimore. I don't know if it's Lamar or just everything, or if he's still reeling, because it seemed like when he came back from that injury, he has 1 game with 43 yards and 136, but he just didn't seem like he was willing to run. So that if you I got him up on my Fantasy Pros page, and he's got a lot of green in the running for the first 4 weeks. Then you get when he gets back, green means that's when he was like hot, he was good and above level. He just didn't seem confident running that last half of the year, and that sort of noticed as the team went down. So I'm hoping he gets healthy this offseason, comes back. But for a team that I have that was great, he's my number 1 quarterback, and a lot of us who came this far survived a little bit because he was putting up some yardage at least, and he wasn't terrible. You could survive. You have other good players, but just you expect more from Lamar. On the year, he's like quarterback 20 currently, but it doesn't feel like that.
Ooh, yeah, that was the rough season for anybody who's a Baltimore fan, and if you had a share of Lamar Jackson, that was just painful to watch those teams in my leagues wrestle with who do I play? Do I even play him? Is he playable? Similar to the Baker Mayfield story. It's like at some point in time, you just got to figure I can't play him. My quarterback on the naughty list is actually the front end of somebody who should have had a better season. There's JJ McCarthy on my naughty list. It just felt like he just did not know who his best receivers were on the team. It almost felt like he purposely was staying away from Justin Jefferson, and he's your bread and butter. He will catch anything you throw in his zip code. The same zip code, that ball's his. Throw a jump ball, do anything. He's one of the best receivers in the league, but not this year. Justin Jefferson was on the wrong side of the fence when it came to having a quarterback who just could not get the job done. I hope J.J. McCarthy can figure it out, because they got so many weapons on that team right now. Even next year, he's got some potential, but this year you just didn't do it, JJ. Sorry, naughty list. All right, let's work on the running back list. And Adam, who is your first running back on the naughty list?
Ironically, Susan and I put our guy in at the same time, so I'm gonna piggyback on hers at the end. So before you do yours, let me piggyback a fun fact about hers. Mine's is a guy who's on my naughty list he's not been terrible, but he was expected to be the next Barry Sanders. That's Ashton Genty. He was supposed to come in and just take the league by storm. But prior to, I think my brother-in-law is still here. Actually, he's a big Raiders fan. He gave up his soul, his firstborn child, and most of his vehicles to get Genty from the owner that drafted him in our dynasty league. So it set him back a ton. He gave up way too much just because he thought he'd be that good. And Genty wasn't Lamar terrible. Genty is still currently, though, I think on Fantasy Couriers here, he's currently still the RB13, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Right. And it's been frustrating. He plays for the terrible Raiders. The line is horrible. But my Skylar comes to me, he goes, dude has 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I'm like, yeah, he's a running back who rushed. He's rushed for 800 yards. And it's not been terrible. But it just feels like it wasn't what you expected. And I think that's where he's naughty for me, especially that stretch from week 11 to week 15, where he just buried. You can even go from week 9 with that decent game, like not terrible game against Denver. But he got 50 yards once and 50 and 60 yards, but otherwise below that from the stretch of week 9 through week 15, which just buried your team. And go back to week 7 at 21 yards. And you can't have a guy who was being drafted probably up at like RB6.
I have the ADPs up. Hold on, I can tell you. You are correct. It is RB6. He was overall 11. So first round.
Yeah. Giante could have easily been on a lot of people's naughty lists. I was fortunate on one of my teams in the playoffs that I had 4 good starting running backs, and I ended up having to make the decision between GNT and Judkins this past weekend. And you know what side I fell on?
Ouch.
Yeah.
That
alone cost me a chance to go to the playoffs and the championship game. So, it'd be easy for me to throw GNT under the bus, but you got to look at the system. You got to look at the team. That team needs some help getting rid of one receiver by the trade deadline. Okay, great, but what are you throwing to? You didn't throw to Bowers as much as you should have. You didn't lean on this rookie product that was supposed to be, like you said, that Barry Sanders prodigy. He should have been in any league that I was in, and Giante was getting drafted. It's like, oh no, I got to play against that team. At some point in time, I was never afraid of it because I knew Giante was so inconsistent. I definitely agree. Giante would be on the naughty list for me, but I also went with something that you said, Adam, from day one on the very first episode this season. Saquon Barkley is on my naughty list. How do you follow up a 2,000-yard season with a dud? This is a forgettable season this year. They're in the playoffs, but it really feels like the Eagles are still without an identity. And you've got to either figure it out by either passing or you got to figure it out by running. And right now, I don't know what they're planning on doing. But Barkley, you had a bad season. It wasn't just a regression. It was you fell off the train, and we don't know where the train's at. So
Javonte was averaging more points per game.
Yeah.
Than Barkley.
Yeah, exactly. That was again my naughty list for running backs. Susan, who do you have for running back on the naughty list?
So I have, again, Adam and I picked the same person. I have Chuba Hubbard. He's not one of these guys that you drafted super high. He went as the running back 20, right? But if you're doing hero RB where you pick one and you're going to fill in with later round running backs, he was supposed to be the guy that was there later that you could take that could be your running back 2 consistently. Mm-hmm. He had such a good season last year. And so you're like, I've got him. Great. My 2 running backs, they're going to be cemented. And now I just need depth. Yep. Unfortunately, his job got usurped by
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ex-Cowboy.
We saw last year when Dowdle was in Dallas, like we knew that there was talent there. And we went into the season like, I wasn't super worried about it because they paid Chuba, right? And so
Yep.
I was ready. There's like Chuba's the starter. Dowdle's going to be a really competent backup. It's going to be great. And then Chuba got hurt. Dowdle took the job and kept it. And so that just really stunk. And again, this wasn't an issue that like wasn't make or break your team, right? So that just stunk.
You either had Chuba as being your, like you said, like perhaps a hero running back, or he was definitely probably your second running back, if nothing else, and to have that completely the rug taken from you, and now you've got whatever scraps they were throwing from the dinner table on Christmas Day as your running back for the whole season. Yeah, not good. And I think you echo those same thoughts, right, Adam? About Charlie?
Yeah, he's he was a guy who, coming out of college, I loved him in college. I was like, dude, this guy is going to be great. And he came, and you had to be patient. The first year was okay, second year was okay, and then the third and fourth year, 23 and 24, he was pretty good. And I was like, okay, cool. They paid the dude. He's going to be good. Rico's coming, whatever. That's just insurance. So you need to. All of a sudden, he got hurt, and usually Rico just happened to have like historic games the weeks he got hurt. You can't bench Rico at that point. But we do this segment on the Couriers. We do this segment on the Couriers called Top Guys. It's basically kind of, we love it's our homage to the ballers when they do their what do they call it? Their My Guys. So it's our top guy. And my top guy this year was Chuba. I love Chuba. And well, Chuba let me down.
I tried to avoid him only because he came from the Panthers. That I didn't have high hopes for the Panthers. They proved me wrong. Bryce Young is actually starting to develop into a good quarterback. Maybe not quite fantasy football statistic relevant quite yet necessarily. He could be a backup quarterback on one of my fantasy teams next year, and I probably wouldn't have too many problems with it. They're really starting to develop things there. They got the running back situation figured out, I think, for the most part. They went with a hot hand, and after Dowdle put up those two back-to-back 200-yard games, they could not take that back from him. It's like, no, you earned this one. Yeah. All right, let's work on the wide receivers naughty list. We touched upon this a little bit before of who was on my naughty list. That would be Brian Thomas from Jacksonville. But even without the injury, he was just missing in action. He had a hot game late in the season, gave you that little tease, and then you'd want to play him, and then he did absolutely nothing against Denver. So anybody who leaped on that leap of faith took the plunge. Guilty. I did that. So he's on my naughty list, but it was not because of any one game or being salty about the playoffs or anything like that. Not like that at all. It's just that even when he was healthy, it just felt like he just was MIA. Susan, who's on your naughty list for receivers?
Before I say that, someone in the chat said, "Are we going to answer Week 17 tough questions?" So Ryan, pop it in the comments, and maybe between our naughty and our nice list, we can try to answer some questions.
Love it. Love it.
So we see it. I just don't know we're not ignoring you.
Yep.
So my naughty list wide receiver is Marvin Harrison Jr. from the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
We keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I mean, it's only been 2 seasons, but you were like last season, rookie. There you
go. There's a Star Wars reference.
So you expect, right? He didn't have a terrible rookie season. You're like, great, second year wide receivers. Those are the guys you expect them to come on strong. And it just didn't happen. I would not be surprised if Gannon loses his job this offseason. The Cardinals have been terrible, and I'm surprised that they're still playing, really. But you've seen lack of effort from him, and it's really hard because you want the generational talent to show up and to be there, and maybe he will turn into like a consistent mid-level guy, and great for fantasy purposes, and like for a team that's really needed too. But he is on the naughty list because fantasy just wants to see something great from him, and it's just not happening.
And that's disheartening too. I mean, yeah, he's a legacy, and a lot of people are thinking he'd be somewhere between a CeeDee Lamb and a DeAndre Hopkins kind of player. It just hasn't
Mhm.
materialized. So I can easily see why that hit your naughty list for this season. Adam, who do you have at the receiver spot?
Oh, I have the naughtiest of them all.
Mm,
Sorry. That is Justin Jefferson.
yeah,
He was, I mean, I think Chase had jumped him to be the number one this year. And I can argue those two guys won't be the number one or two next year on my list, at least. I get some JSN Puka love. But the Justin Jefferson just, wow, what a fall. In half PPR, he currently is the number 33 receiver. I mean,
That's
somehow I don't know how he's going to get 1,000-yard season. He has 917 yards, but he's got 2 touchdowns. But you're looking at weeks from Justin stinking Jefferson, like the greatest guy in the world, of 4 yards, 11 yards, 22 yards, 44 yards. He's got a couple games that were big, but he didn't put up Julio numbers to only have 2 touchdowns. Julio was still good because he had the 2 touchdowns and like 15, 16, 1700 yards. You know, he had giant 1,500 yards the other day, I think it was. But it's almost like looking in Minnesota, JJ, you talked about how terrible he's been playing. There we go. Yeah, Ryan. He doesn't want to throw it to him. Like if I was a rookie quarterback, I'm throwing to the best. I mean, the talent's still there. I gotta believe that, and I think he's gonna be a guy you're going to be able to. You're going to steal him. We're like a question we posed Sunday is, where is he going to fall? Is he going to fall second, third? How far is he falling next year?
A lot of it, I think, is going to be driven on the confidence you might have in JJ McCarthy. For me, that's the whole trigger. You have to have somebody who can throw it to him. Last year he did. It was Darnold. And you saw Darnold going to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Darnold's still able to throw it. Okay, so could it have been a system? Well, you've proven that Darnold was the quarterback in both, and he's successful. Has to be the quarterback as being the issue this year. But why would you not rely on a person who you could trust to grab anything you threw near him? It was just a misuse, almost like a Brock Bowers misuse with the Raiders of the tight end position. But can't explain that one. Cannot explain that one. What we can explain is who made the naughty list from the tight end grouping. So, Susan, tight end naughty list.
All right. My tight end for the naughty list is the Rams tight ends. What is happening?
Colby?
They have some? What?
Oh my gosh. Like, okay. Now, to be fair, Puka and Devontae Adams were there, and Devontae Adams was taking the targets, those high value targets that in previous seasons with that offense that the tight ends were getting. Higbee was a touchdown machine, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you could ride Higbee counting on touchdowns several seasons ago. And now those targets are going to Devontae Adams, but there's too many that they use. You don't know if it's going to be Terrence Ferguson. Hopefully he'll come on next season. You don't know if it's going to be Davis Allen. You don't know if it's going to be Colby Parkinson. And then Higbee was also active at some point this season. He was on and off the field a lot with injury, but all 4 of them were there and on the field at some point. So you could not be – it was not reliable to be starting Rams tight ends even when everybody said you could, right? Because it was there. You talk about – all the Colby Parkinson starts this last week, and it killed so many people.
Yep.
And so it just and process was there, right? Like the matchup should have led to Colby Parkinson getting so many points, and there are just I don't know. So the Rams tight ends, they're my naughty tight ends. And I'm a Rams fan. I enjoy watching the Rams. Like they're one of my teams, but no tight ends from them for fantasy for me.
Coal in the stocking if they even get that, right? Well done. I hate to even ask you, Adam, about your tight end. Who's on the naughty list?
I mean, I want to say Mark Andrews, best low-hanging fruit. I'm going to go with a guy that I was – and the guy you're going to say. But I'm going to go with a guy that I was so high on. So a lot of my naughty list is guys that I was telling people, go for it. Sean Peyton, my favorite coach in the league, said, I want a joker. I want someone to play that role, the jack of all trades, the guy that's going to fill in that hole. And who do we have? Evan Ingram, coming off a pretty decent year, comes into Denver, young quarterback, good system. He's going to be the joker. Evan Ingram sucked.
Yeah,
That's it. Evan Ingram was terrible. He has
I bought into
395
it.
yards right now and a touchdown. I apologize for all those. I helped my buddy get the 2 championship games. I probably messed up a bunch of teams by touting some Evan Ingram, because if Sean Payton says it, it's gospel to me. And Sean Payton let me down with Evan Ingram, and he's just been miserably terrible. I don't understand why that. Like he's got the body. He's the Kyle Pitts type guy. Like realistically, if you look like same, skill. Like I thought he was the best tight end coming out that year, and he started out strong with the Giants, and he sort of puttered. Then he had the good year in Jacksonville, and then now. But yeah, so I publicly apologize to everybody. I mean, he's rated. He's the 28th. Is it? Wait, am I not right here? 32nd. 32nd. There's 32 teams. There's probably some double teams. He's the 32nd tight end right now in half PPR on Fantasy Pros. Like, come on, dude. You're naughty. Get some cold.
Yeah, but we've always told people on this show, you've got to do your own research. You've got to make your own decisions for you. So we'll tell people what our perspectives are, but you've got to make the decision yourselves at some point, as a fantasy owner. I bought into the Evan Ingram as well, well before. But my naughty list for the tight end has to be Travis Kelce. Too much hype, too little return. Even when Mahomes was healthy, you got really not what you thought you were going to get. The rankings showed it early on, but everybody's like, no, he could still be a top 2 or 3. No, not this season. He wasn't going to be. And then now with the quarterback situation, Kelce just became non-relevant in the playoffs for fantasy. And little Jimmy called it right. Epic letdown, epic failure. So there we are. Those are the skill positions: quarterback, running back, receiver, tight ends for the naughty list. So let's field some questions out here from the group. Keep it fresh here, and we're going to cruise through the rest of that naughty list in quick fashion. So anybody want to pop something into the chat rooms, we can talk about it.
I do want to say there are a couple people who've dropped their own naughty list players. So Ryan here says, right, Jefferson is on my naughty list too.
Well done. Yes.
Sharon, Derrick Henry is on her naughty list. What were they doing? Why, Ravens?
Every time they got behind, they abandoned the run. You don't do that.
Yeah,
King Henry is capable of ripping off an 80-yard touchdown at any point in time.
Yeah.
You don't abandon the run. Ugh.
Yeah. And then Super Matt on my Instagram has Debo and Jaden Daniels on their naughty list.
They're coming soon.
I had such high hopes for that Commanders team. Yeah, part of it is with Daniels going down with the season-ending injury, but I thought, man, that team's loaded going into that division in the season. So, all right, another question here: would you play Kenneth Walker, Corum, Woody Marks, or Emmanuel Wilson full PPR? And this is this coming weekend.
Okay, let me see who
Jacob's setting play. It's Wilson. The Rams are playing. The Seattle is playing Carolina.
Ooh, that's a good.
That's
a decent
Rams.
Matchup.
I was just pulling them all up as I'm going there. The Rams, they are playing Atlanta.
Right.
That should be good.
I'm not even considering him in this conversation. To be honest,
also have to look at who's going to be splitting time. Walker's going to be splitting time. Corum's going to be splitting time. Emmanuel Wilson may not. It depends on Jacobs. Emmanuel Wilson may get the bell cow, and they need that running game to work because of the quarterback. So for
my
me,
my answer. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, no, go ahead, please.
No, go. You got it. Go for it. I'll follow you up.
Yeah, mine is. I'd have to check the status of Jacobs, and if he's not playing, you go Emmanuel Wilson out of that group. But I would probably go in my ranking order. Probably Wilson, Corum, because he gets a lot of goal line work. Plus, he gets carries. Then Walker, then Woody Marks. I guess that's how I would probably play if it were me.
And I'm echoing that. Yeah, Wilson. If Jacobs is out, it's Wilson, and because Corum is actually getting more touches than Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker is a good player, but he's just not getting the touches. He just was efficient as all get up last week. But I mean, Corum is coming off of 3 weeks, 12, 11, 14, and he's producing 128, 71, 48. Yeah. So I mean, he is probably the guy you would say without thinking about the Josh Jacobs injury. So if you got to pull it and go, it's going to be Corum. Josh Jacobs is out. It's Wilson, and then I mean, it's hard to say. Like I set Kenneth Walker on one of my teams. Luckily, everybody else performed. So, but yeah, I'm on board with you.
Your take, Susan?
So I agree with the Wilson because he's the only guy that's not going to be in a split backfield.
Right.
I think, though, I am going to flip-flop Corum and Walker for me just because Blake Corum is not getting any passing work. He's had, let's see, 1, 5, 7, 8, 10, under 15 targets all season. Walker is consistently involved in the passing game.
That's true.
Like, so he's getting multiple targets a game. Week 16 against this Rams front, which is supposed to be a very good front. He got 100 yards and a touchdown. That should not be happening. The Carolina matchup is much better. Corum had only 3 more rushing opportunities and only had 48 yards. So I think that you're going to get a better result because Walker has been so efficient and they are going to him. So Wilson, Walker, Corum, Marks. That's mine.
All right. Fair enough. Love the takes. Looks like we've got one more posting out there. Had Judkins. Oh, I feel you. I had him on 3 of my teams. And so is Sampson or Corum, are those people that you would want to pick up on waivers? And I'd say Corum, yes. A solid yes if you have opportunity there. If those are the best 2 you got to choose from, I'd go Corum than Sampson. Yeah.
Samson's
going to play.
There we go. He's still hurt, and there's a bunch like they got the other Sanders. They got they were spreading the ball out pretty good. That I think I'd go Corum. And I was trying to figure out when to pop this in earlier. When the Browns game was on, I've never heard this in a game. They were like, "We're not going to show you Judkins' leg injury." And I've seen backwards feet. I've seen legs wiggle in the air. I'm like, I don't even want to know how gross this was. Like I didn't even look it up because I didn't want to see it because I'm kind of a wuss. But I was like,
respect to the networks for not showing it. Respect to them because there are certain things that are not appropriate at all. I even cringed when I saw Mahomes' knee go the wrong way. But yeah.
Did I mention I started Gardner Minshew this week, by the way?
Oops.
Oh no.
Because he was in a 2-quarterback league. Yeah. Luckily it didn't affect my loss, but that just made my Sunday more salty. But Samson, I think, is going to be a good future. If this is a dynasty, Sharon, throw him on your bench somewhere. Both those guys you should pick up. Since it's probably redraft, but Samson's got to keep an eye out if somebody dropped him because he's hurt. Because he was doing pretty good in the receiving ranks early in the season. So I think if they're smart, Judkins and Sampson could be a really, really good Sonic and Knuckles, Thunder and Lightning, whatever you want to call them. I love that pairing. So hopefully they figure that out too.
And it really feels like a lot of the teams are starting to try to find that combo, just like Detroit started when they had Montgomery. It's like, you drafted this kid named Gibbs. What are you doing? Turns out that was the right call, wasn't it? So they had something they knew. All right, let's rip through the rest of this naughty list. We're going to go through kickers, defense, team, and if there's anything else to cover here. But let's dig into the kickers real quick. Who made the naughty list, Adam?
All of them. I don't like kickers. I don't play kickers. I don't do kickers. I would say probably for me it's Harrison Butker. But if I have to pick someone, because he's on the Chiefs, Chiefs supposed to score. Harrison Butker should score about 15 points a week. He's been kind of poo this week, so I'll throw him out there. But generally, kickers are a sour subject for me. I mean, we could throw out what's his name in Baltimore, like the greatest kicker of all time, who just had a Deshaun Watson in his career. I just brain fart on his name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tucker.
Just like he basically Deshaun Watson's career away in the last decade. So that's probably I'm going to make him my naughty list because he was naughty, very, very naughty, and he can't even
literally naughty.
Quite
so naughty. The terrible Saints won't make him their kicker. So yeah, Justin Tucker. There we go.
My list of the kickers were most likely the ones who got cut. If you're that bad, yeah, you're gone. So that's
you got hired again though.
Who made your list for the kickers, Susan?
I'd pick Jake Moody. You can't.
Ooh, yeah.
His start of the season with the 49ers was not good.
No.
But so.
Yeah. Let's move on to the defenses. The defense really quickly. My defense naughty list. If it's not perennially the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not sure who makes it. I mean, you could probably offer up a lot of them, but Dallas, you just find a way to lose your games. You have all the offensive weapons in the world, but you can't stop Grandma from crossing the street. Come on, guys. So that made my list. That was a no-brainer for me. How about you, Susan?
I picked the Chiefs because they were good in real life. Like they stopped the run. Like generally they were okay in real life, but they were averaging like 5 points a game for fantasy or something. Yeah. So you worried about them as a running back matchup, but then for fantasy, it was like, I can't start them.
Some days I would have taken that though, instead of getting 0 or negative points like some people did over the playoffs. Man, the playoff runs here, that was horrendous for you. You had the wrong team, the wrong time. Defense, Adam.
The 49ers. I mean, the 49ers somehow, I'll talk about them in a bit, but their defense is a team that you've always looked at. Hey, I want to pick, if I have to, they're not going to be, they're not the 85 Bears, but they're also not the Las Vegas Raiders right now. But they are currently the defense. They are number 26 in the league, which is not what you expect. I mean, the 49ers have been decimated by injuries and stuff, but it's a defense where, like, I have a team where I have the 49ers and the Broncos, thank goodness. But, the Niners are a team that usually is known for their defense in the Shanahan years.
Mm-hmm.
But, last week they went out pretty good.
Yeah, but they also lost people in the offseason, and you now see just how much they meant to them. So, all right, on the naughty list, is there any specific team that calls to you, Susan?
Yes, the Falcons.
Ooh.
Just because except for Bijan, you couldn't count on anybody. Like their quarterback got it. And like this is you as a fantasy analyst, I guess. Take
it.
Sure.
You don't worry about injuries, right? They're like, injury happens, like that sucks. It's going to ruin a season.
Yeah.
Penix was out, and it was just like, I don't know. It felt like, yes, you're right, Drake London, but towards the end of the season, when I needed him, I couldn't play him. So they didn't help you. They help you kind of midway through the season because you had Drake. Pitts didn't come on until the very end. I don't know. Just overall, my feelings about the Falcons as a fantasy manager were just like,
it's sad that
I'm sure there are better teams to pick, but that's the one that, like, out of recency bias, I'm just like,
Oh, makes sense. And it's a sad commentary when people are scrambling to pick up Pitts of all people to help them in the latter part of the season. It's like he's hurt your team every single year until this part of the season, this year, finally. It's like, yeah, I'm with you, Falcons, man. That was horrible. Adam, I think you touched upon your team on the naughty list before.
I mean, the answer we all know is the Chiefs, but I'm going to go with the Commanders being outside of DC. I mean, I love Jaden Daniels. I have loathed the Commanders for so long. Dan Snyder leaves town. Okay, I'm cool. I'm supporting the team. I'm like, cool. I'll root for the Commanders. And Jaden Daniels sounds like a guy that wants to be here for a while. They have they brought in Debo. The running game is going to be interesting. Got some young guys. Bill looks like he's about ready to be the man. Zach Ertz is there. You got Scary Terry, who they paid way too much money for. A couple little ancillary pieces. The defense wasn't terrible. And oh my goodness, did they lay an egg? They've only put up 309 points this year. And the thing is, Mariota's not been good.
Right.
But he's not been bad. I was looking him up to be like, he's a streamable, like he wasn't the sole reason they were getting just clobbered. He was putting up fantasy wise like 13, 14, 15 points. He had one really dead week, but otherwise it's not been egregious for a replacement. So the whole team is just blah.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that one. But again, injury plagued, top to bottom. My naughty list of the teams would be Cincinnati. They had so much talent. I really was thinking this is going to be the year they were going to turn it around. Joe Cool was the healthiest he'd ever been getting into the season, and starting to get into the games in September. They're winning games in September, and then all of a sudden, the shoe falls off and he gets his toe hurt. No pun intended. So, all right. Looking at the last category, is there any other call outs for the naughty list?
We put the same guy, and I got a fun story for it. DK Metcalf put a knucklehead.
Now
how do you
DK
attack
really?
a fan? Like, and the crazy thing, I'm sitting here at my in-laws. My brother-in-law knows those people sitting right beside DK. So there's that dude that's like, like he's like, I know that guy. He's like, dude, he said he didn't know what to do. He said he thought DK knew the dude because they were joking. Then all of a sudden he saw that. He's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, you don't punch a fan. Like, come on, you knucklehead. I mean, I got to add Justin Tucker because I forgot about him until recently. But yeah, DK, like, and now he's out the next 2 games.
That's
I
harsh. It's warranted,
luckily
but it's harsh.
I don't know if he should play. You don't attack the fans. Remember when Ron Artest ran into the stands? Like this wasn't that bad, but oh my goodness,
it's gonna probably cost him his guaranteed money too.
That's part of it too. He tossed the guaranteed clauses out of his own contract by doing that. I mean, yeah, Metcalf, he's always been a little bit of a hothead, but that's what also gave him the edge, being a great player. NFL's got the decorum and the protocol about do's and don'ts. Yeah, he crossed the fence on that one, but come on, accountability from the fans. You didn't need to be doing whatever you did that triggered him either. And these are the situations where sometimes the fans cost themselves, because if those are season ticket holders, they might get in trouble for that too. So nobody
was calling him by his name.
I heard a good take, because what DK said was that there was racist things said to him. The guy who did it had an attorney who said, no, there's video of the situation. I'm sure that more information is going to come out, but like that 2 things can be true at the same time. There can be a fan in the stands who is an a-hole.
Yeah.
And like he can be reported and something can happen. Like that could be true. But it is also true that you do not have to jump in the stands to do something.
Yeah.
Like,
agree.
So it doesn't have to be either or in this situation. Like both of them. Now, again, this fan is saying they didn't do that, but like if they did, they can both be wrong.
Yep.
So that sucks.
All right, we're just doing a time check because this has been a really fun episode here. But we're gonna start cruising through the nice list and end this on a really good note. So the nice list, starting off with quarterbacks. So, Susan, your nice list. Let's hear it.
All right. I'm going to go with Dak. I know that the Cowboys have been up and down. I know. I'll take it. You know what? I will take it. The Cowboys have been up and down, and like I get that. But Dak was drafted as the QB 11 in the overall 103. And like he is finishing in the top 10, like so, and probably higher than that. I think right now he's at like 5 or 6.
Yep.
And so you at least are returning on your draft capital. You got him so late, and he performed at least at the level you drafted him for, plus. So I know that there were some weeks that were like that were questionable, but for the overall arc of the season, you got what you drafted. It wasn't terrible. you were able to get what you needed. So that's why
I
I'm
love
taking
that
him on
because,
the nice list.
like you said, you probably ended up drafting him probably third, fourth, fifth, sixth round somewhere, which means
Later
that
than
you're a
that.
great quarterback. Yeah. But you also picked up quality in theory for all the skill positions that you did pick. So you got a quarterback who returned the investment, but you also got probably some better pickups than the average bear probably did.
Hey, boo-boo.
Say, hey, boo boo. I know the-
Hey.
All right, quarterbacks. What do you think, Adam?
Oh, there's only one answer to this. It's the quarterback drafted consensus number 23, who everybody was freaking out about if he was even going to play this season. And now he's QB2, and he's going to win the MVP. He has 40 touchdowns. He has only 5 interceptions, 4,179 yards, and he still has 2 games to play. That's Matthew Stafford, baby. Matthew Stafford is the nicest of the nice. He's going to walk. Like, my other prediction was he was going to walk this year. If he plays this good and they don't win the Super Bowl, he's going to John Elway if they win the Super Bowl, I think. But if they don't win the Super Bowl, I might have been wrong about that one. But yeah, there we go.
He walked in a good situation, though. He had two
Yeah, he did.
really good receivers. He had the running back situation without a doubt shored up. So, yeah, kudos. Well done, Matthew Stafford. My quarterback for the nice list was Drake May. He's putting up MVP numbers. That team is making themselves relevant right now. You've got a lot of fanaticism taking place up in the northeast corner of the U.S., and there's a reason for it. So I know people who hate the Patriots because of the years, repeated years of going to the Super Bowl and whatever. This is a different era now, and Drake May is a good guy, putting up good numbers, and he makes my nice list this year. Running backs. Talk about a homer pick. Come on, Adam.
Homer. I was gonna call myself out. I'm only calling out HM because he's supposed to be broken and beaten by now. Like nobody saw him becoming a bell cow running back, and to me, that's what makes him an MVP. I don't have his ADP. I pulled up Stafford's, but
I've got it.
Right.
Let me see.
You got it. He's probably right.
I've got
where he
ADPs
was.
up.
But he's the running back 6. What was he drafted?
Running back 10 drafted.
So he's moved up 4 spots, but the dude's got 1,267 yards, 8 touchdowns, 64 receptions, 459. And he's the bell cow for a terrible team. Like he survived the self-destruction of Tua. He's survived some terrible play calling. He's survived but the dude still looks solid. You see, anytime he touches the ball, you're like, he's gone. And for me, he's been very nice because he came into the perfect situation. I think on many other teams in the league, this dude would have been a jag, and not even Jacksonville. He would have been a dud, but he just would have been just a guy, and he just fell into a great system. So I'm going to throw my homer pick there. Oh, wait, no, actually, I might have one. Did I throw him in there? No, I didn't. I had Waller somewhere. I thought Waller earlier. But no, Waller he's more my surprise. Like, ooh, what in the world was that? But yeah, HN it's a solid guy who I think a lot of people were still scared to draft him at even 10. I knew people that were like, I avoided him in places.
I tell you, my nice list, there were 2 solid running backs that if you drafted them, you were not disappointed. Jonathan Taylor returning to his old form. And, of course, Chris McCaffrey, well done for actually making it through the season without a catastrophic injury. So, again, you got return on the value for both of those guys for the season. Great job. Nicely done. You're on my nice list. And Susan, running back.
I am going with a guy who was drafted ADP as the running back 32. 32. Left for dead, right? You got this guy in the, let's see, so what does that equate to? Let me find his name again. It just went away. 86. So that's like in the 7th or 8th round, right? Yeah. And now on the season is the running back 7 averaging, let me find it, 15.6 points, fantasy points a game. That is Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was left for dead this season. People were not drafting him. And he has overperformed for you. If you took the risk on him in this Jaguars team, like you are so happy about it.
Yeah. Without a doubt, without a doubt. That was, again, some really good feel-good stories here coming from these skill positions that we've been talking about. We're going to dip into the receiver group now, and this kind of trails what you were talking about, Adam, with your quarterback pick on the nice list. I've got the receivers, Nakua and Adams combo. I mean, if you had a share of that, you were sitting really well pretty much most of the season. Of course, Adams, playoff time, he's MIA, but Nakua, man, he picked up the slack on that one, but boy, if you were looking for a more lethal combo of receivers, I try to match up against those two boys. Nice list for myself here. Receivers for you, Susan.
Okay, same kind of thing. Drafted at wide receiver 36. Currently on the season at wide receiver 6, averaging 16.2 points a game.
Really?
And that is Chris Olave.
Wow.
Yeah. He was drafted as almost a wide receiver 4. He's in the top 10. And his connection with Tyler Shuck has really come on the last several weeks. Olave was a reason that I was put away this week in one week for the championship, because that connection between those two guys. I would not be surprised if the Saints take their pick and go get something else and try to move forward with Tyler Shuck, because he is starting to prove himself and he looks decent. I don't know if he's going to be a lifelong franchise quarterback for the Saints, but he is competent enough that they can move forward using their picks to build around him. So
yeah,
Olave is who I went with.
All right.
I
I wanted to say this. He is also learning how to fall. He is learning what to do to protect himself. I mean,
yeah, you have
Tyler Lockett has made his career of being like, I'm going to catch the ball, I'm going to fall. But his career has been so long because of how he plays. And you can see that style change in what Olave is doing to help protect himself and his health. Because people were worried he wasn't even going to play this year. So,
well, he did, and what a great feel-good story that's turned out to be. Despite how bad New Orleans has played, nice shiny spot down there, New Orleans. Nolans. So, excuse the pun, Adam, but let's wrap up the receiver group here. What do you have for us?
If Stafford wasn't so good this year, I would almost put Tyler Shuck in there. Like JJ Wank, if you look at Shuck's numbers the last month, the first game he played, he had 129 yards. It was kind of a dud. But the rest of them, holy cow, I didn't realize it. It's kind of scary, and I totally agree with you on that take, Susan. I think they're going to go another route and see what they got, at least for a year. I mean, you build from the inside out anyway. But, sorry, drafted overall 33rd and number 1 in all our hearts, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I did a trade in one of my championship teams. I traded away this guy named Justin Jefferson. I forget. He used to play football. Justin Jefferson. And I got JSN and Breece Hall, both of whom are starting for me. Breece, I wouldn't expect him. I mean, Breece still is not. He's kind of a naughty guy. But JSN is the number 1 guy, 16, 37, 10 touchdowns. He even has 36 rushing yards, just a third in there, 3 points, But he has turned into, when I drafted him years ago in one of my dynasty leagues, I was drafting him knowing it was going to be a couple years. I think last year he was early. So I'm going to mute my mic and cough. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, that's a great trade. That's a great trade. I was a little afraid of taking JSN in my leagues, especially when there were a lot of other, in theory, elite receivers in front of him. But again, proof is in the pudding. You put the right combination together, you get the right weaponry, the right quarterback, the right system, and the numbers show exactly who rose to the top on that chart. So, great pick there. All right,
and if you're gonna be able to get JSN this season, off season, if you're a dynasty player, JSN is gonna be so expensive.
Oh yeah,
okay,
exactly. Number 1 drafted guy, him and Puka. Who's better, Jason or Puka?
JSN.
Oh yeah, Puka's on that team too. I have Puka and JSN.
That's insane. That's insane.
Darnold's not going anywhere. They're going to re-sign him, and so that connection is just going to build. I think Stafford, again, if they win, he could be gone, and then you're dealing with who knows what at quarterback.
Mac Jones.
I would put JSN over Puka. But
yeah. All right, let's cruise into the tight end situation. Who makes your nice list, Susan, for the tight ends?
Okay, so this is going to be probably people are going to be annoyed that I picked this person because the team has been
Yeah,
terrible, and that is Brock Bowers. And like he is not Trey McBride, but he was also drafted below Trey McBride, right? Trey McBride was drafted depending on where you are, on what platform you were in. He was being drafted. Trey McBride was being drafted over Bowers. And you still got, even if you drafted him 1 and McBride 2, you still got a top 2 tight end. And he was sorry, let me pull up his stats. He's averaging boop, 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 boop. Oh, sorry. He's averaging 14.7 points a game. And like that's what you want to look at. So right now he's the wide receiver 5, but overall, but that's because he missed games. When you're looking at points per game, he's the number 2. So let me clarify. When I said the top 2, like he's second in average points per game. So when you take out the injuries. So if you were playing him, you were getting points, and that matters at the tight end position. So I have him. I was fine. People are probably going to be mad at me for that take, but I can't pick Kyle Pitts. He did nothing for all season.
Yeah, it's true. And Bauer still put up numbers, but I think they still underutilized him too, if you can believe that. So, Adam, your tight end list includes who?
I'm going to say Brock Bowers. Boo. He wrecked my team. Those 3 weeks just murdered me. And then it was followed by a bye week. It's like, dude, because the beginning of the season, realistically, I mean, he had 100-yard game, then 30, 40. It's like, I mean, it's tight ends. So you're like, if it's not Trey McBride, you just pick someone you like. Let's be honest here. And I'm going with the guy who wasn't even drafted. He was the 33rd ranked tight end preseason, and now he's number 7 in our hearts. Number 1 in Shedeur Sanders' hearts, and that's Harold Fannin Jr. Just great rookie year. Like, dude has 701 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's got 105 targets. He came in like I was surprised how late. Like I love tight ends, and I totally slept on him too. But he was the leading tight end in college last year at Bowling Green, like setting records and whatnot, and everybody just sort of poo-pooed it, and because he was in Cleveland, and dude just killed it.
Some people can't translate college to pros. He did, and that what a nice surprise too. Way to make the nice list. Well done, Fannin. My tight end, of course, it is McBride. You got production, you got elite production as you would expect it. If you took him as one of the top 3 tight ends, you got that return on value. He was at one point almost the only game in town there because of the carousel of running backs and the injury situations with the receivers. He was consistent. So he made my nice list. So let's move on. Let's take a quick pass through the kickers. And Adam, who's made your nice list for kickers?
It's funny. I didn't even realize he was kicker 1 because I don't pay attention to kickers. I got a league with kickers, and I'm in the championship game with my JSN Puka stack. And off the waivers, I had Buckner, so I dropped him. I got Jason Myers, and Jason Myers since week 6 has week 9. He had 9 points last week. Kind of stunk because all they did was score touchdowns and 2 wing versions, but the dude has over 10 points every week. He's the kicker 1. So, I mean, I'm cheating once again. It's like McBride, but he's a kicker. He's been consistent since week 6, like the start of, really since week 3. The entire year. Week 5 was a dud. Last week was a dud. Otherwise, he's gotten 8 or more points. If I got 8 or more points for my kicker every single week, I wouldn't pay kicker carousel. And that's what I've been able to do. And hopefully I can give him a trophy this week, and we can walk off into the promised land together.
Yeah, I noticed the consistency and the utilization about mid-season, and so all my leagues, I picked up Myers across the board. It's like, yes, I've got the strongest kicker out there, and he's putting up numbers all over the place, and let's get into the playoffs, and you sucked. So, I got hurt by him across the board. That's what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket. So, but he had a great season. I see why he made the nice list. he was a nice surprise for a lot of people. But I'd have to go with the person who set the NFL record for the longest field goal. That's Little. So nicely done, nice reward, and well done. And the kicker for you, Susan?
I went another homework pick, I guess. Brandon Aubrey, because that man is a machine. He is a machine. Now he's missed a couple recently, but when you look at this, like he's made 9 of his 12 50-plus yard field goals. 9 of his, that was Meyer's stat. 9 of the 13 50-plus yard field goals. He made more of the shorter field goals than Myers did, averaging you 11 fantasy points per game. And it just, I saw a clip of a player, it was like after one of the Green Bay players, when they, it was like he was on the sideline and they were only at, it was like 4th and 1 or something. And rather than going for it, they brought Aubrey out, but it was like at the 50-yard line or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were just like, he was like, wait, we're not going to go for it? Or like, this is like, and the other player was like, no, man,
trust him.
he's got it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Automatic.
Like once you get to midway field, once you get to the 50-yard line, like you're going to get that field goal. It's totally fine. I wish this stat had broken down like 60-plus yards because he was kicking them all the time.
Oh yeah. It would not surprise me if he ends up having the record at some point in time, but a lot of it depends on the opportunity again. So, okay, Dicker the kicker. We see that from Sharon. Yeah, he had a great season. Really started putting the hammer down.
And his social media presence is top notch. I don't know if you've looked at the Chargers' social media, but he is down for whatever they ask him to do. There was a whole like Hannah the Montana thing that came about with him like showing up in Los Angeles, like small town boy showing up. He like wore a wig and a jean skirt like he's down for whatever. So that's kind of fun.
Cool. Let's move on to defenses. Houston, big storyline this year, man. That defense, when you draft the way they did a year ago, and now it's producing, that is a defense to be feared. They make my A+ list. They make the nice list. Well done. Susan, who's on your defense squad for the nice list?
I picked Dallas. Do you know why?
Homer pick again. Come on.
Wasn't they your naughty list?
Tell us why.
They were naughty list pick because they provided nice list numbers for every position that played against them. They were the nice list for my team when they was facing them. So that's why
you gotta love the logic. You gotta love that.
Because if you were facing Dallas, you weren't worried about the matchup. Things were fine.
That's awesome.
They make my nice list.
Top that one, Adam. Top that one.
Well, can you guess who the 31st drafted defense was, or basically not drafted defense was in the preseason? The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, there we go.
And all they did was become murderers row. You didn't want to play against them. I mean, that's part of the downfall of Jonathan Taylor at this point in the year is he has to play them twice. Good luck this week, everybody. You're playing them.
Yeah.
They are currently the number 3 defense, which shows how up and down defenses are because they've had some bad weeks. Defense 30, defense 23. They also have a defense 2, a defense 5. But defenses are so up and down, which is why I don't play a lot of leagues with defenses because it's so fickle. I mean, you look at a great Rams defense and a great Seahawks defense, and they're doomed because both teams just went bonkers. But you didn't draft the Jaguars, and all of a sudden they're a team that people are scared of. So go Jags.
Well done. Yeah, that's a great story there again, too. So let's move on to the nice list for the entire team. So, Susan, your team nice list.
Oh, piggybacking.
Oh,
yeah. My team nice list is Jacksonville because like about it at the top with Trevor Lawrence. The team turnaround has been amazing. You're getting relevant fantasy players at every single position,
Mhm.
legitimately. And so I think next team you're gonna see the ADP of all Jaguars players jump by quite a bit.
Yeah.
With excitement of that's coming into the system for a second year. I'm very excited for Trevor Lawrence and just those guys to take the step forward under this new coaching regime.
And for the playoffs, this is a team I don't want to play. If I'm in the playoffs, keep away from Jacksonville, man. You know, and all you can do is tell Jacksonville, take care of business. You got what it takes now. You got the offense working. You got the defense going. Bring it home. Do what you need to do. Adam, who is on your team list for the nice?
I'm wimping out though, but I'm just saying the NFC West. The top three teams, the Cardinals, y'all suck. But the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Rams, they are essentially neck and neck. Like literally, I think
Yes.
is it some the 49ers can still win this division, and they have been playing with like one leg and a sling all season. And somehow, so they might be the best of these three teams that we don't know about yet.
Wow.
As long as Kittle's ankle is mid to low, like they're saying it might be. That's something to keep an eye on, guys, going into this week. But all three of these teams, they're already in the playoffs. A game separates all of them. There's tiebreakers all over the place going on. But these teams are great, and two of these teams have to travel in the NFL playoffs, which is insane. And they're going to have to travel to like Carolina or Tampa. One of those teams is going to have to travel to Chicago or Philadelphia. You know, and they're better teams. These are the three best teams in the NFC for me by a mile. So, yeah.
Hard to dispute that.
Nice.
Nice list. Very good. And for my teams, you know, I'm going to go New England and Denver. They both have young quarterbacks, and they've got their programs winning again. You know, that's great to see. You had a period of time, even 2 or 3 years ago, where you just didn't want any fantasy players from those teams. Now they're becoming fantasy relevant. They're becoming relevant for the NFL playoffs. You made my nice list, guys. Both New England and Denver this year. Well done. Way to turn those things around. All right. Any parting gifts for our nice list participants here? It looks like Adam, you might have something on your nice list.
I have one guy, and it's more because I just didn't like him. Shedeur Sanders came into the NFL with a chip on his shoulder. Came in, you know, I'm Deion's kid. I'm the best thing since string cheese. My dad has coached me since I was 4, so I've always been the starting quarterback. Just like we would all do with our, you know, we would try to, but he was humbled. And you didn't hear it. Like some guys you would hear publicly like come out and just go, this coach is a moron. Why is he playing Dylan Gabriel over me? I mean, come on. Flacco, you know we're not winning this year. Flacco shouldn't have been playing, blah, 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 blah. And then he's had some down weeks recently, but I see him growing, but I also see him not being the jerk that I thought he was, which is why he slipped, because his interviews apparently were part of the reason that he went. Like he just came in just like, dude, just take me. And he even told, he's like, Ravens don't draft me. Like the Ravens called. I think the Ravens said they were going to draft him to back up Lamar. And heck, the way Lamar's playing, he might have been the starter. But his attitude is really what I'll put him on the nice list as not being the big giant jerk I thought he was going to be.
I like that. Yeah, you know, and we talked on the very first show this season that you want that swagger, you want that cockiness about you, that you are a great quarterback, you got a lot to offer. But you're right, with him almost being cut was really humbling, and he didn't say anything about it. He kept working out, he kept trying to do the right things and waited for opportunity. When it came, he's been taking the most of that opportunity. So I'm interested to see where Cleveland goes next year. I hope that Sanders is the quarterback there. But time will tell. You just never know with that organization what they plan on doing. You just don't know. But I think that's a great way to end this segment. Is that, you know, well done, Shedeur, for just biting your tongue and biding your time to get the opportunity. So I see another one. Oh, we've got some late entry here. What do you got, Susan?
I just would like to give Sam Darnold some love.
Oh yeah,
because people didn't believe him when he did it in Minnesota.
Yep.
They let him walk, and the team is very clearly like, oh, crap, probably shouldn't have done that. And he's gone into Seattle and I don't know if you've seen clips about there was that really bad game that went for them, and like his team came to bat for him. Like his defense was like, nah, hell no, that's our quarterback. And so he has really clearly a part of the culture there, and I just want to see him succeed. So
great take. Yeah. Love that being on the nice list as well. Darnold had struggles in the Jets organization. He got a second chance, got another chance, and he's found his way and he's produced. What a great story that's been. And even on the interviews that he's been on with a lot of the media, you see that confidence, you see that growth, that maturity, and great story there. Great story. All right, we've got something in our chat room here. Oh, need 2 of the 3 receivers in that list. You're looking at Jefferson, Tet McMillan, or DJ Moore. It's in a championship against your dad.
Yikes. Okay.
Good news.
Who's everybody? Let's pull up.
So if we're wrong, it's okay. Jefferson's going to get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, right?
If you benched him, he would.
100%.
It's like one of those seasons. Like, I can't trust him, can't believe him. Just like we were talking about Jefferson and AJ Brown all year. Can't when you finally bench him, then he lights it up. Consistency.
I
is where
have my
have to
take.
go. Tet is automatically on my list. Tet has to be on that list, and then the other 2 is what it really comes down to.
I'm going Tet because their teams have something to play for. The Vikings are out of it. DJ.
Okay.
Because the Panthers they are in control of their own destiny to win the division right now.
Yep.
They have to win. They have to keep winning.
Yep.
If they beat Tampa, not this week, but next, they're the division winner.
Yep.
DJ Moore, Chicago still has the chance to get the 1 seed. So those teams really have something to play for, and the Vikings are out of it. So I would just have to go with the teams that they're still needing to do something. I know that sucks, but like just with the inconsistency of Jefferson, I am not taking that risk.
And Rome Odunze looks like, reading the tea leaves I'm just reading, says he probably won't play. They say he'll be back sometime this season, which says he's not playing next week. So since he's been out, it's been DJ Moore, not stellar, but really good. 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. Great. Still at 69 yards. Not that great. He's only had 12 targets over the 2 weeks, but he's the guy they're throwing to, and he's getting the touchdowns. So I would go with you, Susan. It's that whole thing. Like, do you set Jefferson? And we're at that point, I think, because you're so naughty, Jefferson. Here comes your cold.
You almost have to prove it before I play you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you get to that point with somebody who was easily a top 5 receiver, and now you're talking way outside. So there you go. Great
They're
question.
playing Detroit, but yeah, that's
Detroit's
tough.
fighting too.
That's tough, Ryan.
Could be a shootout. Might be a lot of points to be had. Hard to say. Best of luck, Ryan. Best of luck. Okay. Looks like we've taken care of all that business. So let's move forward here. And I think that's going to do it for our show. Last show of the season as well. Thank you, everybody who's listened to our show. Thank you to my special co-host this season for making this tons of fun. Any final shout outs, Susan?
I just want to say, this is my first time. I've done like guest spots. This is the first show that I've been a reader on. Yeah, my very first time was to do a show like this was with Adam on the Couriers. And this has been so much fun. And I have really enjoyed answering questions and having the audience members who are here regularly, who we ask questions and we're giving advice to, and talking to you guys and like having difference of opinions with you or having the same opinions as you. It has just been really fun. And I think Corey is going to owe $50 to my favorite charity.
For those that don't know, tell us, Susan.
Corey and I made a bet, I think it was in the very first episode,
It was.
about where Lad McConkey would finish. And right now, he is the wide receiver 25. And I believe that I said he would be a wide receiver 3. It was like between 24 and 30 or something is where I said he would end up. So
Well done. Well done. All right, Adam, talk to us.
I was looking up, Starsky and Hutch in 2004 said, "Are you crying? I'm not crying. You're crying." I said, like this. I told people when I talked after talking to Corey, I'm like, I willy dilly. I saw him post the job for this. Like I was like that's pretty cool. And then I saw it again. I was like, why the heck don't I sign up for this? And I talked to Corey and we just, because him and I've always hit it off and shot the breeze and had a good time. And this was literally a dream come true. Like it's one of my bucket list things was to do something like this. And it's been even more of a blast. Anybody who's listening right now, Corey asked us to do an hour a week. We're at an hour and 35 minutes and we want to stay on for another 2 hours together and shoot the breeze because we're having much fun. I want those of you, this has been one of our biggest listening. X blew up this week. If you're listening or watching us right now, don't go away. Check out the Gridiron Goddess. Follow her on Instagram. She'll probably show up on our show some this year. Follow her. She's got amazing advice. Check out us on the Fantasy Couriers. This is a different, I am on another podcast, but it's just me and my buddy just shooting the breeze over the internet. We're just having fun, and we just record it and us talking. But Fantasy Turf War is coming back next year, as far as I know. I'm planning on being here. It's been, I've had a lot of fun. Tuesday's been the longest day of my weeks. I've been exhausted because I've had stuff all week. But earlier in the season, I had a 1 hour leadership lesson before this that I was doing, and I have drama club practice that day, and I work, so it's been the longest day. But ending it like this, I can't sleep at night because I'm so excited. I'm having so much fun. So now I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight because I've had so much fun, and Santa's coming soon. It's going to be a great time. But keep following. If you're watching us for the first time, hit us up. The Fantasy Couriers at gmail.com. Their address. The fantasycouriers.com is the website. Gridiron Goddess. Click on the Fantasy Turf War. Click the like button on all of these. You've got us here. We're coming back. I think I texted Corey about doing something, maybe a couple hot spots throughout the year, just like maybe a draft, a couple, because fantasy season doesn't end.
Yeah.
My buddy and I will podcast from now until we decide not to. We're getting ready to go on our 300th episode in a couple weeks. I'm really excited about it. He doesn't keep track, so it's fun. It's fun to surprise him. Hey, we're at episode 300. I got to find some crazy loud music to shock him. But we do this because we love it. And we've had a lot of fun, and the three of us have never sat in a room and talked for as long. Sometimes we'll talk afterwards. Sometimes we'll talk before. We'll be messaging throughout the days in our hectic, crazy lives. But I've had a blast with you guys. I could keep going on. It's just been a lot of fun. I mean, we're at an hour and 37. Let's go to 4 hours. We'll make it. But I think that's where Corey will draw the line. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
I already had to restart my stream once.
Yeah, and,
I saw that.
And Corey,
Corey,
I know you're not listening right now. I'm sure you will listen to all these episodes, but I do appreciate you giving me the opportunity to work with such a great group of people here. Susan and Adam, you have brought so much to the table. Your insights, the in-depth analysis, your gut feelings, your takes on things, top notch. I could not have asked for a better group to be a part of, and I feel very humbled to be a part of this ensemble. You never know when paths cross each other. Love to do it up again. And when Corey and I talked in the summertime, I told him I thought this would be more of that fireside chat where you have a conversation with people just shooting the breeze about fantasy football. And that's what it really has felt like, is just the conversation. And that's why it's never been strictly kept at an hour or whatever. We just let it go organically wherever it led us to. So we appreciate everybody who's listened to us. We appreciate all the followers. I truly appreciate both you, Susan, and Adam, for all you've done and all you brought to the table. So that's got to be it from us. And Corey closes out each of the weeks with the following, and I'll do the same thing here. Be excellent to each other. Be kind. And until next time, keep moving forward. See you. Have a happy holiday. Be safe. And we look to seeing you guys again soon. Bye now.